A very good morning. This is Sandro Satyajit and welcome to the Talk of the Town. Now on Friday, Harsha spoke with Dr. Harsha Silva on Newsline on the independent management of EPF and how it is critical. This is what he had to say.
Dr. Harsha, what is the situation now with our debt restructuring? Do we know, have we come to a conclusion with our international lenders? What's the status? Is it completed or is there some bits and pieces missing?
Well, we don't really know exactly where we are in terms of the external restructure. We hear stories that the Indians and the Japanese have basically said, look, we are willing to do a deal with you, which is, I presume, satisfactory to the government. However, the domestic debt restructure is something that there has been a lot of discussion about, but no movement. That is because the Parliament now has to amend the Inland Revenue Act to increase the tax on the bonds that EPF and other such funds hold from 14% to 30%. The amendment has been tabled, as you know, and the Supreme Court gave its determination. It's interesting because the Supreme Court essentially says, look, it is up to Parliament to decide how best to tax, and they've cited multiple prior determinations and essentially says, we have really nothing to do with it. Governments tax different rates, not just here but everywhere else, and it is based on providing incentives and disincentives. So therefore, you people sort it out yourselves. But I would like to read something from that determination.
Please do.
Yes, it says at one point, a reference was made to an affidavit filed by the Governor of the Central Bank at paragraph 61 of a prophetic doom of an apocalyptic collapse that will ensue if the domestic debt optimization process is unsuccessful or delayed. An Armageddon of gloom has been described in the following tenor, and it goes on to list a whole bunch of things. And I was just thinking, didn't people make fun at the leader of the opposition when he used these words 2 years ago? And it would be, the collapse would be of apocalyptic nature.
Do you think, Dr. Harsha, that the leader of the opposition, Mr. Premadasa, has had words with these people with the bench, unknown to you, me, and everybody else, because of these words,
I do not know that, but Justices Alvihare, Nawaz and Obesekara thought it fit to actually place this in their determination that was tabled in the House on Tuesday morning.
Dr. Harsha, isn't it true that some time ago, in the matter of this sort of super gains tax, corporate Lanka with profits in excess of 2 billion rupees, the Supreme Court determined then that the rate of taxation and that policy was down to Parliament and that they couldn't intervene on that.
Yes, correct. I mean, let me read this, the following paragraph also to reiterate that point. It says, there is institutional incapacity in the courts to reassess or reappraise the above policy decision. Right? Institutional incapacity. In the event evidence to the contrary is unavailable. Right? Evidence to the contrary is unavailable. In the circumstances, this court perceives a rationale underlying the differentiation, and this court is not irascibly driven to the conclusion that the policy is manifestly unreasonable. In the circumstance, the Parliament, which has full control of public finance in terms of Article 148, is at liberty to make reasonable classification. And we take the view that manifest unreasonableness does not taint the clauses in the Inland Revenue Act that is sought to be impunged in these proceedings. So, I mean, so they put the ball back in the court of parliament.
Yeah.
And however, they say in the event evidence to the contrary is unavailable, right? So, and that they don't have the institutional capacity. Now the issue is, does Parliament have the capacity and the evidence?
That's a wrap of Talk of the Town this morning. It's now back to the Morning Fix with Dom and Asanka.